ski season in Michigan is underway, and with snow in the forecast, people looking for safe ways to get out there and out of the house. Of course, the slopes are bound to be very busy, right? Well, before you head out, you might want a refresher on the basic legal rules of skiing. Join us again as attorney Tom Sinas of the Sinas Dramus Law Firm to talk about the Michigan Ski Safety Act. Of course, very timely. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me back.
Absolutely. So what is the Michigan Ski Safety Act?
Yeah, it's not something that you think about when you're buying your skis or buying your lift ticket and heading out to the slopes, but we actually have a comprehensive statute in Michigan, meaning a set of laws and rules that govern most everything about skiing. So the idea behind the Ski Area Safety Act was to create the kinds of rules that both skiers and ski hills are required to follow, because of course, as you pointed out, this is a particularly unique kind of sport with a unique kind of setup. And so the idea here was to create a set of rules that everybody could agree on and agree to follow. And it really sets the framework for how activity on a ski hill is supposed to go.
All right. Well, let's talk about those basic rules for both skiers and those ski hills.
Yeah. So the statute has a set of rules for ski hills, as you mentioned, and a set of rules for skiers. And the rules are defined both in terms of what people should do and what they shouldn't do. So for ski operators, as the statute calls it, things like the following. They have to have snow grooming equipment that has a flashing yellow light so that you can see it. They have to mark with a visible warning sign or some other sign, a hydrant or another fixture used to make snowmaking. As people know who ski, there's snowmaking equipment on the hills, and those have to be marked so, of course, that people can avoid colliding with them. Ski hills also have to mark at the top of the run the type of run it is, how easy or difficult, green, blue, black, and also do things like mark when runs are closed. So those are some of the things that ski hills have to do. But there's also a list of things that skiers have to follow, a list of rules they have to follow. So what are some of those? Some of those are the following. They have to maintain reasonable control of their speed and course at all times. And boy, anyone who's skied has seen people who are out of control. If a skier is out of control, they're in violation of the Ski Safety Act because they're required to maintain control. They have to steer clear of grooming equipment. They have to heed the posted warning signs. They have to ski only in areas that are open. And then this is interesting that the statute says, and I'll read it, it says a skier shall conduct him or herself within the limits of his or her individual ability and shall not act in a manner that may contribute to his or her injury or the injury of another person. A skier shall be the sole judge of his or her ability. So that puts a lot on the skier to say, look, you and only you know what you can ski safely, and you're required to ski in a manner that is safe. If you can't ski in a manner that is safe on that particular run or that particular hill, then you shouldn't be skiing. Because if you ski in a way that risks injury to you or another person, then you violated that rule, which is part of the Ski Area Safety Act.
All right, and you're talking about injury there. So how does the Ski Safety Act apply to claims involving personal injuries from skiing?
Okay, this is a really good question, and it's a very unique area of law because most personal injury cases involve what we call general principles of negligence law, the idea that people owe each other a duty to exercise what the law calls reasonable care. And so the question over the years has been, was that the standard that we apply? Or do we apply the standards from the Ski Area Safety Act, the ones that we just discussed? And there have been recent cases making it clear that when you're looking at an injury that occurs in the course of skiing, that the rules of the road are those in the Ski Area Safety Act, not general principles of negligence. So I'll read a passage for you from a case that makes this point clear. And it says, it is possible, and therefore skiers assume the risk that a collision can occur between skiers when neither skier is violating the Ski Area Safety Act. That is, it is an obvious and sometimes necessary danger of skiing that accidents can happen. But again, if it can be shown that the collision resulted from a violation of the Ski Area Safety Act, then the violator can be held liable for damages. So what that means is that if a skier is conducting themselves in violation of those rules that we talked about from the Ski Area Safety Act, then that skier can be held liable if they injure another person. On the other hand, the victim has to show that the skier who hurt them or the ski hill who they allege hurt them, that what was done there was more than just general negligence, but was a failure to follow the rules of the Ski Area Safety Act. So a good example comes from a couple of cases. There's a recent case where the plaintiff said, I was injured in a collision with another skier. And the court said, well, that's not enough because as the statute says, collisions can occur, accidents can happen, even without a violation of the Ski Area Safety Act. On the other hand, there's a case where a skier is going down the hill in control and they hear someone behind them say, look out. And the person's coming down the hill full bore and crashes into the skier. Well, that kind of skiing, if that's what happened, that kind of skiing violates the Ski Area Safety Act because as we talked about, everyone is required to remain in control of themselves when skiing. So the takeaway here is injuries on ski hills are complicated, both in terms of what happened, but also in terms of whether there's a legal claim to an injured skier. And all of this really comes from the fact that we have these set of rules in our Ski Area Safety Act.
And those are definitely rules that are needed. So if people want to get more information, where can they go?
They can find us online at www.sinusdramus.com. They can shoot us an email at info@sinusdramus.com or give us a call the old-fashioned way at 616-301-3333.